Excellent. Welcome to Truth in Telecoms. Johnny, how are you?
Oh, well, I think I got a buyer for Tyntec. Although I started, going after Tyntec and Scipio yesterday, started
Yep.
our war. But Scipio, Tyntec, you got a buyer. One more left. I think they're willing to pay cash too.
Oh, wow.
Um,
That's a good
yeah,
one.
so we'll see. So that's positive. I guess
Yep.
there's a God somewhere. Otherwise, it's just guns are blaring, boys,
So
girls.
have you increased your
Nicola, you still
bid?
owe me half your shares too. But
Have you increased your bid for the TCR? I think you got up to
wait,
$3 now.
the bid, look, it's very simple. The old joke. An Israeli businessman and an Indian businessman walk into a bar. That's it. Who walks out with the better deal? They're going to do a business deal. I'm asking you a question. Who walks out with a better deal?
I don't know on that one.
You know on this one, because Avi Katz, who is the genius of all genius, the Spacinator,
Yep.
walked into a bar with Tata
Yep.
and sold him a bill of goods. Now, Tata thinks they're going to sell the campaign registry for $200 million. Spoiler alert, Von Coalition.
Yeah, exactly.
Boys, because when the big boys come, I mean the big boys,
Oh, yeah.
Microsoft, Google, Cisco.
Yeah.
Can you please do light regulation, FCC? What does that even mean, light regulation? Please keep the campaign registry away from us. They're destroying everything.
Exactly.
The whole ecosystem. So the whole ecosystem now is under fire. I mean, who's telling what Cinch can do, what Cineverse can do, what Twilio's doing? I mean, we know what happened with Twilio and their prepayments.
Yes.
That's when everything was lifted. That's when I entered in.
Yep, exactly.
So, I mean, the campaign registry, you're toast.
Yes.
You're completely toast. Czar, I don't know, my biggest viewer this week on my profiles was the FCC. Can you imagine? They're going, who is this Giovanni Carone character? And why has he posted all this stuff? And so Czar, hats off, Czar. You did a good job. Well, Rick Joyce sent that letter and sparked off Czar. And look, I think people are tired. They're just tired of it. They're tired of
enterprises across America in all the hurdles they have to jump through in trying to get the UCAS system that they've bought from Ring Central, from Microsoft, from Cisco, all the rest. It's an utter pain because it's just employee communications, and that breaks shaft. It breaks a whole host of stuff. So then they can't, messaging doesn't work for them, which is crazy. Well, for MNOs, they can do whatever they want with their.
Well, that was Rick Joyce's first comments a while back was on them and the unfairness. I mean, they compete directly with the MNOs on those business lines. So, look, it's a big day, big week. I mean, again, they're running a process. Anybody out there that wants to look under the hood, just call Lazard. Tell them you have money. I'm sure you all have money out there. Look under the hood. I'm just curious to see. Can you imagine the due diligence on that? And first of all, Tata, you can't do a deal because the three mobile operators would have to come together and give new agreements.
Yes.
And those new agreements would have to be colluded on, right? And there's no CTIA or nobody in the middle of this deal.
Correct.
So you got nothing to sell, Tata. And there's no growth. I know Avi Katz because I know what he did. By the way, I spoke to Avi a few weeks ago. We kind of made peace when he wasn't going to have Alec Baldwin clip me, and then we're back to square one again. And he was quite frankly giggling with his sunglasses on, Tata, and how he took you to the bank. He took you to the woodshed. $300 million. You took over for Kaleyra Communications, and how did even Engage even get past CFIUS? So look, I think it's going to take time. Yeah, I think the Cineverse letter with blocking unregistered after the
December 1st,
December 1st, after certain political things happen that we can't talk about.
Yeah.
And what's going on over there? The same thing that Bill Peters reported in his complaint and the stuff that Alec wrote. Look, it's much worse. I've been reached out by companies that are very involved, and one side can get anything sent, the other side can't. Why? Well, you got, Soren Shaft, frame job guy. So look, this is a big victory. We've been screaming this now for a while. I mean, I don't see spam getting stopped. I mean, it's funny. Anthony Minicelli made a quote on my post. He said, talking about AI. People people thought newspapers, cars, trains, electricity, internet were all evil too. Talking about the evil things that can happen with AI.
Yeah.
Maybe they all were, but you can't put the shit back in the horse.
Yeah.
So we should figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he also talked about it, how much worse it's going to get, with
Well,
spam
yeah, but
and
at least the
robocalls.
spelling will be good.
The spelling will be good, and that's really the bottom line. So look, I don't think we've gotten the awareness we want. I don't think anybody is gravitating to Noah's potential solution here.
No.
Even though he's gotten thousands of views.
Yep, absolutely.
We got to find a way to translate. Rick wants us to get somebody to translate Noah.
Well, his 8-minute clip is good. He explains why he's doing it.
You got to do a walk-in. You got to do a walk-in session with him. Probably leave me off it because I'll start throwing things. Do a walkthrough session with him on the actual product.
Yeah.
So if we're going to actually do anything to stop the spamming and the robocalling, I don't see it. But at the very least, Czar, we opened up CAN. We did a lot of work in. It's a big badge of honor.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thing is a joke. It's hurting a lot of businesses. It's hurting a lot of companies. And the FCC, you're responsible, FCC. Yeah. You're responsible for the public. You're there to protect people. Yeah. So, I'm glad you're watching. I'm glad you're listening to us. And I'm glad, big boys, thank you. Thank you for coming in.
Coalition.
Because when they come, it's not Von Coalition is just what they brought in Covington. So they brought in Covington. Yeah. Now, this ain't like Lathan Watkins, like Czar said, that doesn't know telecom. Covington, is talking back channel right now on what's going on here. Because they don't want this completely regulated. So they want light regulations, like light music, light reading.
Exactly.
What they don't want.
It's oversight, yes.
What they don't want is to be under the thumbs of this insanity of the Campaign Registry, which is literally the Keystone Cops deciding what goes on.
Because it was imposed. There was no gathering of the market's requirements. It was just imposed with a Stone Age almost method for vetting campaigns. It was just balmy.
You have people in the messaging divisions on the lower end of the totem pole. The carriers are not going to care as long as they can keep monetizing A2P.
Yep.
So we're not talking about the half a penny and the penny they're making anymore.
Yeah.
That's already been accepted, and that's going to keep climbing. And quite frankly, it's their role. So I think the operators come out of this winning. The public still loses.
Yep.
Until we get some more public awareness, who knows when that'll happen? People will get tired.
Yeah.
What's going to start happening? I think Minicelli's right. There's going to be a lot of crime scenes, and it's a shame.
Yep, absolutely.
A lot of crime scenes.
But this was an amazing week for SignalWire, with the announcement from Deutsche Telekom Global Carrier. And what I loved, there's no rambling about standards and APIs. They just said, we've won virtual queue, which was one of Twilio's biggest customers. So what they've built on SignalWire, they're not rambling about what camera standards or whatever. They've just said, we've won this customer. And that to me was just class act in terms of here's a platform you need to use. And when you do it, you win customers.
So don't make me play the video again, because I keep playing the free switch video. It's my favorite advertisement in the history. I think Anthony's trying to block me because I keep playing the video over. Anthony, you need to do a new one now on that. And look, SignalWire, they walk the walk. These guys are the guys from free switch. I mean, what else can you say about them? What I don't understand is Tyntec's in Germany, Anthony. So why don't you throw a tuck in there with Tyntec, right? They'll at least do some translating. The connectivity, the platform, still an amazing asset. As much as we're going to start fighting, still an amazing asset. I mean, we got contracts with every big enterprise. Even to get those is hard to get. It's an amazing asset. So at a bandwidth didn't want to call me back, even though I called them going from $9 to 22. You're welcome, bandwidth. Look, what are they doing? Like 40 million in political messaging this year?
Well, through their partners, so they're very smart, and they don't do it directly.
Very smart.
They've got Rumble and aggregate, so service providers that do. So it's all at arm's length, so they don't have to get into the machinations of.
But Twilio's dabbling in it as well.
Yeah.
Now that Jeff is gone.
Yeah.
Over there, and look, their earnings call, I don't even know what to say. Non-GAAP, non-GAAP, non-GAAP. Everybody, when you see non-GAAP, run.
Yeah,
It's just everything's
I
non-GAAP,
don't understand
non-GAAP,
why they
non-GAAP.
can't get it basically converted over to GAAP. I mean, it's just generally
Because
accepted.
they would have to be somewhat real.
Yeah.
Again, they're going after higher margins as they're burying.
Well, because
As they're
alleged software
burying things
company,
into the cogs. Yeah, I mean,
after spending 1.6 billion on aggregators. So,
but look, you talk about how we look at how I look at the market, right?
yeah.
Since 843 million outstanding shares.
Yes.
Twilio, 171 million outstanding shares.
Yes.
Right? It's impossible. Cinch is a solid company.
Yeah.
Great company. They had some hurdles. They're basically a penny stock with the amount of outstanding shares.
Exactly.
That's how penny stocks, that was the whole game with the Wolf of Wall Street and all that stuff. Is billions of shares. It's just amazing. So look, I keep calling it out. Twilio needs to not do the buybacks because they're not doing any good.
Yes,
So
exactly.
Activists, Twilio, guys, trillions, wake up. Yeah. You could pick up Cinch right now.
Yes.
For a couple of $1 billion, and you're throwing that money away into buybacks. I mean, for the amount of money you what, 3.2 billion on a segment, they can buy Cinch.
Yes.
And then you'd have a big solid company running in the ocean.
Global domination. You have the global market.
Look, don't underestimate. Don't, like I said in my post.
Yeah.
The writing's all over the wall. Infobip came to Times Square. Infobip joined every organization. They joined the Suck Boys at Meth. They joined the CPAS AA. They joined the CCA with our friends down here in Florida who don't know which way is going on here. But they're joining everything. They're doing great promotion.
Oh yeah.
And look, they got JP Morgan. And you made that comment about, their margins are this or that. Who cares? It doesn't matter. JP Morgan tried to hand the company to Twilio.
Yes.
How do I know? Because many of the Twilio guys called me and said, they're asking us what we think about Infobip.
Yeah.
They wanted to do a deal. Everybody wanted that Twilio cash. They wanted to get their money out.
Yeah.
But you know what? Good for you, Infobip, because now you're in a situation where you get to be taken public and you'll get some liquidity and you'll be able to do things in different verticals. Because, I even hear they're not really as aggressive as they were in the gateway business, and they're starting to do other things with moving money and different types of things. And obviously, we know the great rebranding of GMS.
Yes.
I mean, GMS is crushing it.
AI communications.
Well, 86% of big enterprise don't even have an AI plan, right? So you're coming in there and you're giving now a new vertical, and they made some great acquisitions. I'm still crying every day, at least every few days. I cry about not getting a deal done with GMS because look, they got a bright future.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And and they shifted on a dime to where they're going. But Infobip, look, biggest bank in the world is JP Morgan.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah.
They'll just give those shares to their top customers.
Yeah.
Right. And bang, it goes. They peel off their 800 million. Infobip rides into the future, and now they'll have the liquidity of the markets. Right. So they could be a monster. I mean, they've been around forever.
Yeah.
They do messaging right. I understand they're getting into network APIs, and it's probably a mistake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to get you started. I mean, look, Vonage did it. Vonage is doing it, and probably going to be like a $5 billion market. So it's a tough.
We have the useless report created by McKinsey. I always basically sort of point to, if you've got a comedian,
should come right after McKinsey in this industry.
But GSMA, they did what the GSMA asked for: produce a ridiculously large number for market size. So that is what basically, Ericsson, because Ericsson bought Vonage. So that's what they're riding underneath, even though they devalued the Vonage asset. Vonage is a complex asset as well, because you've got all the CSAS, UCAS, VoIP, sort of enterprise VoIP stuff, as well as the CPaaS piece. So there's a lot of complexity there within.
No, they're going to keep going, and they're going to be okay, but they overspent $6 billion.
Yeah, correct.
The guys who are in Twilio right now, Legion Partners, were part of the Vonage deal.
Correct.
So they basically told me that the next best offer was $1 billion.
Yeah.
For Vonage.
Yes.
And you guys paid 6, 7. I even forget it's so high. Like I lose I lose count. He goes, oh, wow,
Yeah,
like 6.8
proportionality.
billion. Yeah, it's like, what, 6.8 billion for Vonage. So look, they made out a score, but Ericsson seems to have an endless bank account. I know, look, they have, just on the iConnective asset, that thing kicking off, that thing kicks off close to a couple $100 million
Oh, no,
in profits.
yeah.
But it's
And they've
still
got
not
through
6.8 billion.
Yeah, but that is a nice little money earner, though.
Yeah,
Don't
and they
get me
did a
wrong.
big deal with
But
AT&T.
I
So
always
Ericsson,
come back to across Nokia, Ericsson, and the GSMA, they persuaded the mobile industry to spend 650 billion to go, oh, I'm not sure where the new revenues are with 5G.
yeah, I mean, you're going to have to call they're going to have to call D Bubbly on that one. I mean, that's, you know,
Yeah.
that one I don't get.
Yeah. And to make matters worse, in this whole network API, that's in the web business. That's not even, mobile, spectrum, radio access stuff where they know their stuff in and out. This is on the web side of the business where, like the McKinsey report, they said, look, developers want standard APIs. Yes, web standards, because they're web developers. They don't need or want telecom standards. And they response to when I was pointing that out, shrug the shoulders.
Yeah, well, because the money that came in, look, a lot of these incumbents in these different countries, they get debt financing or they get equity money through in countries, and it's gone.
Yeah, no, that's
it's gone. But when you have Microsoft, Google, that's $5 trillion in market cap.
Exactly.
They can buy all the mobile operators with one of those fingers.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, T-Mobile being the most valuable, strongest company in the world.
Well, its marketing is just on a roll. It's marketing.
They just know what they're doing. They're just heads and tails above everybody else.
Exactly.
How they got dragged into this campaign registry deal by AT&T, I'll never know.
It's just a little bit of their business. It's just down in the noise.
Well, I understand it's a little bit of it, but it's a mess.
Well, yeah.
I mean, but I hear from a lot of people dealing with them. They just know what they're doing.
Yes. Well, the Mint Mobile acquisition and then the marketing tie-ups they're doing, they're just hitting it out of the park in consumer marketing and in small business marketing. It's amazing to see what they're doing.
And now the deal they're doing with SpaceX and what have you. They're just, so if you take them outside of the picture, I mean, AT&T, I don't even know what to say.
Oh, well, there was the bribery case in Illinois. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, but they're not going to do it anymore. I mean, really. So, look, they get away with it. Why? Because they're AT&T. They'd run...
But it was just how brazen. It's like, the court documents showing the internal communications between AT&T employee 1, 2, and 3 discussing now, how do we make sure we get recognition for the payment that this intermediary is making to this government official? I mean,
it's completely staggering.
Yeah. And the bribery was so small, 22.5K. 22,000, to bribe to change the carrier of last resort regulation. And who does that impact? Basically a lot of, sort of low-income families, because how else do they get their phone service? And it's just like, guys, this is sort of like, Dr. Evil type of behavior.
I had this conversation with Rick Joyce, because he represented the carriers for many years. Look, they're publicly traded companies. They don't answer to anybody else. The FCC does, though. Yeah. And the FCC, look, I know you're all politically appointed over there, but, look, it's going to get bad.
Yeah.
And, sadly, I don't know what's going to be done over there. I know UMail's doing some great things.
Yep.
But what are they going to do? You're trying to catch people after the mass murders.
Yeah.
Who cares at that point? They're dead. People are getting fleeced.
Yes.
It's insanity. It's insane.
With the scams coming in through robocalling and spam SMS. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, back to the bill thing.
Yeah.
That's coming to a head. I mean, Alan and I have been subpoenaed there. They're trying to bring me and Alan into an administrative claim and a wrongful termination claim in Delaware and in New York. They're trying to combine both Bill Peters lawsuits. So Tata, you had an opportunity to listen to Bill Peters. And for all you out there that keep hearing me on this, and I'm going to keep going, Bill Peters came back in to try to help Avi Katz and Matt Matuli, who was at Vion, who's now at Ericsson, clean up all the illegal traffic, all the embargo traffic. We told him how Twilio was paying an 80% discount, which he couldn't believe. He switched that right around. He cleaned up the company so Avi could sell it. Mm-hmm. And then you still tried to screw him.
Yeah.
Tata. So you're going to get what you deserve over here. You're going to get nothing, and you got nothing with Kaleyra, and your gross margin is 10%, and your other great companies just feed off it. Tata's a great brand, a great name, but you got taken to the woodshed.
Yeah.
On this thing, and I hear rumblings. There's some big players around to buy it, but how are you going to get new agreements without the carrier's cooperation?
Right.
You have nothing to sell. So if there is a sale, it's the carriers cooperating.
Yeah.
On that, and I just don't see them doing that. I don't. But so I upped the offer to $3 for you guys because technically, FCC, somebody needs to hold the carriers.
Well, the telecom ecosystem to basically, the count of its customers, the American public, and all the enterprises. That has to be accountability. Full stop.
It needs to be separately owned, just like we offered a campaign TCRA. It needs to be a separate entity, maybe a nonprofit that runs it. Because, like Czar said, it's a very important asset.
Correct.
But you're going to ban TikTok, but you're not going to ban this.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to find some stuff out middle of November. We'll be talking about what they uncover because, one side of the spectrum is just dumb as rocks. Just dumb as rocks. It's right in front of their face, and they're just, just dumb faces. Don't know what's going on here. But
I think part of it also is they just each think they've got an insider line advantage. So it's like just keep our sort of edge away from sort of public scrutiny because they each think they've got an edge over the other. But
and then you got Net Number trying to position themselves. Net Number, Telecom University, your whole team's over there in Germany. Go back to Tyntec. We'll start talking about them next week. Tyntec got a pass today. Got a new buyer potentially. They'll be reaching out. So maybe because otherwise Thorsten just wants to pay us all $1 to get lost. So you're saying just hump his network. He likes to hump his network. That's about it. But look, anything else you want to cover?
We have from Tata Open before Enterprise Connect. One of the winners, Siraj, he's got an internship building VCon, which was one of the sponsors, on top of Jambones, which is a sponsor from year before. So that's excellent news. We're pushing to get more interns in to different projects, different organizations. And I'll put a link there so you can see all the.
I don't think anybody else is out there trying to do anything with interns. I know Infobip does a lot with interns over there in Croatia. They do a lot of that stuff. I think that's something that really needs to be spoken about.
Yes.
Because it's just a tough future ahead.
Exactly. It's new blood into the industry, which is essential because there's too many old gray guys like ourselves. We need new blood.
And some of you guys out there in the CPaaS messaging industry, go find out what Matthew D. Smith is doing at FireCloud. Like I said, the guy's making money hand over fist, doesn't want to take investment. He's posting and doing videos all day long about 4.0. He's my favorite. But if you want to change direction, go where he is.
Yeah. Well, that
never heard anybody say, no, I don't want to raise money.
Because with TED Summit coming up later this year, we've got a number of themes. And Industry 4.0 is one of those themes. We've always had industrial IoT. So we've had Twilio, Security presenting, sponsoring over the years. But, we've sort of got more and more Industry 4.0 people in, and they were like, Alan, what you're doing around programmable telecoms, this is core to Industry 4.0. And we did a webinar last week, late Thursday last week. And it really was good in reviewing what Industry 4.0 is and the vital importance of customer communication in there. So for Matthew, for him, VCon is core to Industry 4.0. And the use case example is Tesla. With their enterprise resource planning, the first thing they designed when they built it is getting customer feedback into the production line. That was so where important. They started.
And now Stroll has got Ken Huron.
Yes, that's
one
right.
of our all-time favorites.
He has joined, which is great news.
I wanted to get his okay to do a big press release. But Ken, if you're listening, sorry. I mean, big move by Stroll and Vinny over there and Thomas. They're going places. I mean, you know what I mean? They're on the cutting edge and they're doing it real. They're using it right now in selling cars.
Yeah.
And whether you're selling cars or anything else. It's all intertwined. So that's exciting. You know, it's a
Yep.
CAD Summit. CAD Summit
Exactly,
header.
all linked together. You know, it's an ecosystem of mavericks, innovators, and doing the right thing for the customer. If you think,
And Secura just got named up in the GSMA.
yes,
That's huge.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yes, so they're now
And they're crushing it. I mean, look, the guy walks the walk. I'm trying to get him on
Yep.
to start going after some of these other fake identity companies.
yes,
I've been baiting him to come on and start talking to some other people who
Yep.
everybody's in identity. Tomorrow they have like the MF identity event with the brilliant Michael Becker, who is absolutely brilliant. He's putting it on.
Yep.
Interesting to hear about that. I don't know if Mark's going to be there from Secura, but
I think he is.
look,
Yeah, I saw some advertising around that. So,
yeah, Mark, we're ready for you, Mark, to come on and start walking the walk again. And congratulations to a good guy. And
Yep.
look, he's got the best coverage in the world.
Mhm.
So
absolutely,
look, a lot of good things over here. But
yeah.
Tata, Avi Katz got you. He got us too. He convinced us to go back and help him.
Yeah,
but
with billing yourself, exactly.
Huh?
But regardless, we're still doing the right thing. You know, showing in programmable comms and with programmable manufacturing, the two go hand in hand. So that's just a massive opportunity, and you know we're just more than happy to be helping Strollard get VCons into as many industry verticals as possible to achieve that broad-based adoption.
And one more thing, Czar texted me, tells me that there's a TCPA claim against Twilio. I haven't seen it. I can't find it. So Czar, if you're listening, you're probably not, because you're listening to yourself somewhere, running around talking about something else. Tell us what's going on there, because you know what? At the end of the day, it's all Twilio. All Twilio buying up the access with Cineverse, all Twilio at ZipWhip, all Twilio with the prepayments to Campaign Registry. They bought time, the whole ecosystem. So, whatever we talk about the mobile operators, it was just Twilio. They took that $80 billion market cap and they bought the ecosystem.
Yes.
And they control it in the US.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. But the big boys are coming.
Absolutely.
But it's funny, isn't it amazing how nobody's stepping up to buy Twilio? Where's Salesforce? Where's AWS? Where's Microsoft?
Yes.
Where is all the things that we talked about before?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? It's called non-GAAP.
Yes. Exactly.
Non-GAAP.
That's the
not
key.
real.